You'll go cuckoo bananas. Step number 2. This will make this much simpler. I shall add guidelines to the shape. When we add the face, this will make it easier to put the features in the right spot. From the top of his head, which shall be here, to the bottom, which shall be here, I will lightly divide this in half right down the center. This shows everyone the front of your shape. I will also go right to left with another guideline. Now, Linus doesn't really have these lines on his face. These are merely here to help us artists place the features in the right spot. This also shows us the dead center. Excellent. No one has drawn a triangle. Wonderful. All right, now we're ready for his face. The first feature I like to draw on a face almost always is the nose. That is the center point of a head. And once you know where that thing is, it's so much easier to get the rest of the stuff in the right spot around it. Now for today's portrait, Linus will be facing this direction. His nose is nothing more than a little letter C that sits right here in the middle. So right there, sketching this cute little C shape. Now if we were drawing Linus facing the other direction, the C shape would point the other way. It's that simple. And by the way, class, this is totally not going to get any harder. I promise! Alright, now, much the way Frankenstein awoke his monster, we shall wake up our cartoon character by drawing in the eyes. These are very slender ovals. They shall sit on either side of the nose. Here and here. Now, these are not dots, they are ovals. To draw them, all you need is a curved line and a curved line. And think of this as a shape, it's not a dot. This will give you more control over which direction your character is looking. When you have these shapes the way you like them, press down with a pencil and render this in dark. Dark, 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 super dark. This should be the darkest part of the portrait. The way a viewer will notice this first, and they will look your character right in the eye and establish a connection with him. Now, to frame up the eyes, I shall add 2 curved lines on either side. These are nothing more than a C curve, here and here. Now it's looking more like a Linus. There we go. These change shape depending on Mr. Linus's mood. If he's startled or alarmed, these stretch upward a bit. If he gets cranky or frumpy, they tend to come down. You can create all kinds of moods on your cartoon characters just by drawing the eyes a little different. And above the eyes, he has eyebrows. These are nothing more than 2 curves. The deal here is you want them right over the eye itself. There we go. If they get too far off to the side, it tends to lose the expression. Those are indeed the eyebrows. You are correct. It's starting to look like lights. It looks like a window. It does look like it. Well, we're going to wake him up. We're going to wake him up even more by that. Now, here is where this little fellow is different from most of the Peanuts characters. A lot of them just have round heads. He has a little bit of a cheek and a forehead. I shall now add 2 curves to his shape. Starting just above the eyebrow, right here, I shall draw a curve on this side. Swoop. There we go. In fact, you can even darken this up. This turns right into his cheek. This is where he's very different than Charlie Brown. And the forehead is nothing more than a little bump here. It's just another curved line. Right where you left off, just curve in, right to the center. And you can even darken this in. The trick here, gang, you don't want these bumps to get a sharp point on them. Keep them round. Now, if you're drawing a scary cartoon character like a villain or a monster, sharp angles look great for that. Rounder edges make characters look much cuter. Definitely our friend Linus. Excellent, you did that perfectly, well done. Now for the ears. These are nothing more than 2 letter C's. They attach right on the side of the head shape. The top of the ear lines up perfectly with the bottom of your guideline. Nice rounded C curve. Snap that on. I shall do the same over here, but on this side, I will make this ear just a little smaller. His head is turning away from us. He's looking that way. We will see more of this here and less of this here over here. In fact, once we have this in place, we can finish darkening in the circle. We call this locking into shape. I'm just going over our sketch with a little bit of a darker line. Observe, I'm not writing one line. Again, I'm building a line by just drawing several of them together, darkening it up. When Charles Schulz did the final line for his comic strips, he would go over his pencil sketches with pen and ink and add this delightful wiggly line. It gave the comic strip a lot of personality. Something very difficult for another artist to duplicate. He was indeed a master. Almost finished, class. Oh my word. Now, below here I shall add his neck and collar. This will make the portrait look more formal when it is complete. His neck is nothing more than a tube. For us, these are two straight lines below the eyes. These get a little bit wider, flare them out a little bit. Keep the neck very short. That's one thing all Peanuts characters have in common. A very large head and a very short neck. And then you can close this off here at the bottom. C curve right there. Then for the shoulders, just bring a line off of the neck here and here. There we go. He wears this delightful little t-shirt with stripes on it. In fact, if you want to get fancy, who doesn't? You can add a stripe to your t-shirt. This, says Linus very much. This and his security blanket. Is it looking more like Linus now? Yes, I heard a yes out there. Thank you, my dear. Positive reinforcement and affirmation are key to success. All right, before we open his mouth, we shall draw the hair. Now, here's where this gets tricky. Hair, he's got a lot of it, and it's a bit messy. This little boy doesn't really comb his hair. He just rolls out of bed in the morning, and that's how he goes to school. It almost looks like he combed it with a balloon. I shall draw some lines and just follow along with me and have fun as you do. I shall start right above the eyebrow here. There is a long hair that bends up and down. Oink. Just going past the ear ever so slightly. Then there's another curved line that just comes right off of here. This droops down as well. Now it's looking like Linus. All right, we shall now draw 3 longer hairs. These start on the side of his head and they all end just above this eye. And the best way to show you this is to start right across from that eyebrow, curve up, right over the eye. 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. They can overlap each other, and if they don't match mine, so much the better. These are different every time. Hair's not a solid thing like an eye or a nose. It moves around as the character moves. Now we shall draw 3 more hairs, doing the same thing we did here, but these pretty much end over this eye. Start just above the ear. We start overlapping. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. In the little itty bitty space right here, you can just end this by bringing a few right off of the side here. Bring them right from his ear. Oh, Linus, you've always been one of my favorites. I would love a friend like Linus. He's always got such good advice. And now for the mouth. I'm in a really good mood, so I'm going to draw my Linus smiling. You're welcome to do that. A smile is nothing more than a curved line on a cartoon character. If you want to draw him with a regular mouth, like he's just standing there, it's a straight line. And if you want to make it look like your Linus is talking, draw an oval. If he's talking loudly, it's a big oval. And if he's just talking to someone next to him, it's a smaller oval. Again, with a smile, I'll draw the corners of the mouth first. These line up perfectly with the bottoms of his ears. Even in here. And a Linus smile always definitely has a little bit of a wiggle to it. He's very sweet, but always just a little unsure of himself, making him so lovable. And the last step, this is so important, I believe every artist should sign their masterpiece. Now at the bottom of your comic page, there's a little spot for your name. I myself will be making my mark here. Dr. S. Delightful. Wait a minute, this is my favorite part of the symposium. I get to look at all of your artwork. If you're seated on the floor, here's what I want you to do. Please stand up at this time. Rise, my artists, rise. We're going to show everyone in the gallery. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, reveal your artwork. Happy Halloween, everyone. Thank you so much for drawing with us here in the Ghastly Gallery. And enjoy the rest of your day here at Knott's Spooky Farm.